Be the Good with Kate shows each of us how it is possible to find and follow our passions at any age. But not only that, we can do this while making the world a better place along the way. I'm Kate Chericello, and I'm on a mission to shine a light on the positive news all around us. I hope Be the Good with Kate inspires you to live your purpose and go out and be the good in the world. Guests have included a Broadway music director, ex-convict, hospital clown, nonprofit leaders, people who've lost those closest to them, people who have found their calling in their 60s, and my kindergarten teacher. Join me each week as I have the honor of sharing these stories with you. You can find Be the Good with Kate on all podcast platforms and YouTube. Subscribe there or go to katechericello.com/bethegood to be updated when new episodes are released. Today on Be the Good with Kate, I'm so happy to introduce you to Brooke Romney. Now, Brooke has a large, vibrant online community, and additionally, her work teaches parents how to connect with their children, themselves, and with others in ways that make a tangible difference. I love how that sentence is worded. It is right from her bio, so I can take no credit. But let me tell you a little bit more about Brooke before I give her the reins here. She's a writer, speaker, and leader of an online community who helps moms of teens and tweens create meaningful, healthy, and enjoyable relationships with their children through practical application, education, and community. Her goal is for every family to feel confident and connected. The mother of 4 boys, ages tween to adult, Brooke knows parenting perfection isn't real and takes an honest and hopeful approach with her audience. That sentence I bolded because I love it. And her best-selling book, 52 Modern Manners for Today's Teens, Volume 1 and 2, provides weekly tips to help parents and teens navigate the complexities of today's world. I'll let her continue on with the rest, but Brooke, thanks so much for being here today.
I sure appreciate it, and I love your mission of doing good.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, please tell everybody a little bit more about who you are that's not in the bio.
Well, so much was said in the bio so concisely, but I am just so passionate about helping parents find tools and ways for connection. Our world has gone very digital, which sometimes makes us feel disconnected. And I think there are solutions that are simple and effective. And I love helping parents find those.
Beautiful. So how did you get to this point to doing what you're doing? What's your path?
It's kind of an interesting and winding path. I've always been a writer. And when newspapers and magazines kind of went by the wayside for the most part, I started an online community, and that was back in Michigan. And then we moved. And when we moved, I realized I wanted to keep writing, but I was no longer going to be exploring Michigan, which is what I was writing about before. And so I started dabbling a little bit in the parenting space and really enjoyed the connection that brought for me. When my children became teenagers, I was hungry for a community where they were talking about teens. There was so much out there for new moms and toddlers and even younger kids, but it felt like the internet just completely went away for parents of teens and tweens. And I was looking for just some help and connection, and even someone who was a step or two ahead of me that might be able to offer some perspective. And it wasn't there. And so I created that for myself and brought others along. And it has been something that I absolutely love and find so much help and joy there. From there, I was really in tune with the parents of teenagers, had teenagers of my own, and realized that there were some gaps from what parents thought their teenagers should know and be aware of, and what our teenagers did know and what they were aware of. And as I started sharing some of those things online, parents said, please give us a book. We need a book. We need to be able to teach our teens these simple, modern tips and manners that help them navigate the world they're in. And so that's where the first book started. And after that, we just kept rolling with the idea, continuing to help parents feel equipped to better parent their teenagers.
I love all of this. And one aspect I wanted to hone in on again, for whether someone listening is a parent, is not, or just any aspect of that, like finding your passion in life, which is the whole thing that this show is about, right? Finding your passion and helping others along the way, is you saw a need that you needed filled for yourself. So we don't
Yep.
always have to be looking like, oh, what can I do that's in the outside, in the outside. You said, this is something I need. Let me find out how to make it happen. And then in the process, you have helped countless others. And you will forever now, because once something's online, it's there forever. And once something's in a book, it's there forever. So that's fantastic.
Well, and one of the things that can go along with that that I think is it's such an interesting part of the story is when my teenager became about 13 or 14, I went to Amazon and I was like, book about modern manners for kids, book for teenagers, social norms, book for, and there was nothing that came up. And so I thought, if I'm searching for this, I know I'm not the only parent that feels ill-equipped to be able to navigate this time of life. And so when it wasn't there, it took me a couple of years to feel confident enough to be able to create it. But it was so fun to be able to put something out there that I so desperately needed to.
Well, thank you for saying that part about it took you a couple of years to feel confident enough to do it. That's huge. That's huge for taking those steps forward. And some people feel like, oh, if I can't do it today, I won't ever be able to do it. So,
Right.
reminder of you can, you just have to build up to it sometimes.
Exactly. Exactly. It takes some patience and a lot of learning along the way.
Yes, yes. So, what is the most surprising thing to you of where you are now?
I think the most surprising thing is the amount of families and classrooms that have seen major positive changes because of their willingness to engage with the book. I knew that it would help our family. I knew that it might help a few families that were really intentional about it. But to hear the stories and the anecdotes and the changes that have been made in families, there is nothing that makes me happy or more fulfilled than to think that it's not really about the book, but about somebody's willingness to engage with it. And then a child or a teen being willing to put it into practice and see the changes that it can make in their life.
Wow. So I have to ask, because I feel like if, like, kind of like you said, if you were searching for this question, someone else is searching for it. If I'm thinking this question, someone else listening is as well. Where did you find the time to do what you do? Because I heard you say four boys, and I read, of course, four boys. I have one baby, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, please go down for your nap so I could do the interview. Please stay asleep. Like, just finding those little nuggets of time. So times four, how did you find the time and even just the mind frame to do all of this?
Yeah, I think for one, my kids were all in school, so that is very different. And I will say that trying to be a writer while I had kids home was a lot of really, really, really late nights. But something that I loved enough to sacrifice some sleep for. But once they went to school, I had to become really deliberate about how I use that time. And I think when you have something that you feel so passionate about, you figure out how to discipline yourself enough to be able to create it.
So, Brooke, if someone came to you and they said, I'm trying to figure out what my passions are and how I can use them to make a difference, is there any advice you'd give that person?
Yeah, I think a lot of us feel unqualified or underqualified. And I think just knowing that, there were a lot of times where I thought, wait, do I need to study this before I write this book? Or, will someone read it if there's not a PhD behind my name? But as I was thinking about that, I thought of the thousands of hours that I have spent parenting teens, being invested in teens, working at middle schools, working with them in church groups. And not just that, but my extreme love for them and my desire for them to be successful. And that was enough to fuel me to be able to create something for them. And I think had I been caught up in the fact that I wasn't quite as qualified as I thought I should be, I would have never created it. And the book is doing amazing things for people. And I didn't have to study it professionally to be able to create something that made a difference.
So that your research, so to speak, was your own experience, of course, but then also schools, church groups, and just what you were doing out and about in the community.
Well, and a whole community online of parents sharing the pain points that they had and the struggles they had, plus 20 years of being a writer and being able to distill information in small sections so that people could understand it and take it in. I think we often look to the parts of our life that maybe aren't as qualified and forget the ways that we are very qualified to do the work that we're called to do.
There. Everybody just rewind 10 seconds and read that again. Listen to that again. Absolutely true there. And just such an important reminder. And that's something that comes up a lot in this show with prior guests is that taking the step forward, being open-minded, just trying it, see what happens. And you do realize very quickly how all of your skills can come together and help you achieve what's really in your heart there, which I'm so happy to hear this with you. And now it says in your bio, you have tweens to adults now. How old are your children?
So my oldest is 21 and then down to 12 right now.
Okay. So still a very busy household.
Yes. And a lot of fun, a lot of energy, and so many opportunities for learning and growth for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can imagine that your volumes can continue with every single year.
So we just published the 52 Modern Manners for Kids, and that is out. Parents, after reading the one for teens and using it in their homes, said this is amazing, and we want to start this way earlier. We don't want to wait until our kids are teens to teach these manners. And so I, worked with my community and said, what do younger kids need to know? And went back to my experiences. So this book is for kids ages 4 to 12, and it starts that manners journey early. When we talk about manners, I think it's so important to remind people that this isn't about old school manners, but this is about relationships, awareness, kindness, and helping children become those people as early on as possible.
Okay, so that was a perfect segue to my last of the official questions for the episode, which is, how would you answer the question, why do we need to share these positive stories and the stories of people doing good and making a difference?
I think as a writer, stories are inspiring. And when you realize that good people doing good things live fulfilling, engaged, connected, and happy lives, it counteracts some of the messaging that in order to succeed, you have to be successful, or in order to get your part, other people can't get theirs. And I think it creates this really lovely view of abundance that allows us to live a life that feels fulfilling, regardless of whether immediate success is happening or not.
Excellent. So tell us, Brooke, what do people find when they come online to your community to meet you?
So my community is Brooke Romney Writes on Instagram, and what they find, I think, is one of the most helpful and engaged corners of the internet. I had a post go a little viral recently where there were a lot of people who weren't part of the community that were commenting, and it was very obvious who was part of the community and who wasn't, because in our community, we're supportive. We're interested, we're engaged. We believe that there's a lot of different ways to do things well. We listen, and that's what I love. And I have learned so much from the people and the parents who are there, who are just interested in helping to raise good humans, whether that is as a parent or as an aunt or as a friend or as a teacher. It's just been a really fulfilling place to be.
Wonderful. And I've already saved some of your posts to share when this episode goes out so that people can get on that right away. Brooke, I cannot thank you enough for your time and just for squeezing so many great little tidbits into just a short interview here.
Thank you so much for having me and for the work that you are excited about and doing.
Oh, thank you. Well, you know very much when it lights you up, you want to share it with others.
Absolutely.
In taking classes over the years or observing workout videos, one major piece that is often missing: stressing safety and form. Additionally, group fitness classes are often marketed as being open to all levels, yet how often do instructors not give modifications nor progressions so that each participant truly can get what he or she needs out of the class? So that's why I created the 101 series, which take things back to basics with 3 separate courses: Bar 101, Pilates 101, and HIIT 101, focusing on safety and efficiency so you can maximize your workouts. Be confident when you step into a group fitness class or workout on your own. Be strong in your execution of the most common exercises, and be proud of yourself for taking these huge steps forward on your health journey. Check it out at bebykate.com. The link is in the show notes.
Thanks so much for listening to Be the Good with Kate Chericello. Whether you're listening on YouTube or via podcast, it would mean the world if you liked, subscribed, and or left a review. You heard about the good? Now go out and be the good in your life this week. If you have stories of good news that need to be shared, please send me a message. Thanks again, and have a great week.